On Monday, Shanghai was hit hard by Typhoon Bebinca, the most powerful storm to strike the city in over 70 years. This Category 1 typhoon disrupted travel, forced millions into shelters, and overshadowed the Mid-Autumn Festival. The storm's impact underscores the escalating challenges of extreme weather in our changing climate. In this video, we'll break down the latest updates, the damage caused, and the city's response. Stay tuned. Shanghai, one of China's busiest financial hubs, was brought to a sudden halt this Monday as Typhoon Bebinca, the strongest storm to hit the city in more than 7 decades. The Category 1 typhoon, with wind speeds of up to 151 kilometers per hour, disrupted travel, shut down businesses, and forced millions of residents to shelter indoors. The storm made landfall early in the morning, wreaking havoc on daily life, with flights canceled, highways closed, and ferry services suspended. The city, home to 25 million people, faced its biggest storm-related disruption since Typhoon Gloria in 1949. The timing of Typhoon Bebinca was particularly unfortunate, as it coincided with China's Mid-Autumn Festival, a 3-day national holiday typically marked by family gatherings and travel. Holiday plans were thrown into chaos as people scrambled for safety, and businesses in the city came to a standstill. Typhoon Bebinca, reaching maximum wind speeds near its eye, made landfall in an industrial suburb southeast of Shanghai on Monday, around 7:30 a.m. local time. The China Meteorological Administration recorded peak wind speeds of 151 kilometers per hour, while the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, JTWC, reported top speeds of 130 kilometers per hour, equivalent to a Category 1 hurricane. The storm hit Shanghai hard, uprooting more than 10,000 trees, flooding streets, and leaving parts of the city without power or clean water. Videos circulated on Chinese social media platforms showing flooded streets and widespread damage. Shanghai's normally bustling streets were deserted as residents sheltered indoors, heeding warnings from local authorities to avoid unnecessary travel. By midnight on Monday, more than 414,000 people had been evacuated from at-risk areas, with schools and exhibition centers turned into temporary shelters to house those displaced by the storm. Similar evacuation efforts took place in the neighboring provinces of Zhejiang and Jiangsu, where officials prepared for the storm's arrival. The storm's arrival during a national holiday made the impact particularly disruptive. More than 1,400 flights were canceled at Shanghai's 2 international airports, Pudong and Hongqiao, leaving thousands of travelers stranded. Train services were also heavily affected, with over 570 passenger trains canceled since Sunday evening, paralyzing transport across the region. Ferries, bridges, and highways were closed, as were many of Shanghai's metro services. With major roads and elevated highways shut down, traffic ground to a halt, and businesses across the city, including tourist hotspots, were forced to close. Shanghai Disney Resort, Jinjiang Amusement Park, and Shanghai Wild Animal Park were among the popular attractions closed due to the storm. Videos on social media showed staff at these parks securing loose items in an attempt to prevent further damage. The China Meteorological Administration issued a red typhoon warning, the highest level of alert, warning of gale-force winds, heavy rainfall, and coastal flooding. The storm was expected to weaken as it moved inland, but its initial intensity caught many residents by surprise. Authorities urged people to stock up on food and essential supplies ahead of the storm, and many responded by emptying supermarket shelves over the weekend. Despite the severity of the storm, Shanghai's emergency response was swift and effective. More than 56,000 rescue workers were deployed across the city and surrounding areas, working around the clock to clear roads, remove fallen trees, and restore power where possible. Evacuation efforts were crucial in preventing major casualties, and by Monday afternoon, state media reported that only 1 injury had been confirmed. The large-scale evacuation of at-risk residents, which began in the days leading up to the storm's landfall, played a significant role in minimizing the human toll of Typhoon Bebinca. Temporary shelters provided refuge for those who had been forced to leave their homes, and rescue teams remained on standby to respond to further emergencies. The eye of the storm moved inland toward Jiangsu province by Monday afternoon, where it began to weaken into a tropical storm. However, heavy rains continued to batter Shanghai throughout the day, and the city remained on high alert. Several districts in Shanghai maintained their top-level weather warnings as flooding remained a threat. Typhoon Bebinca is the most powerful storm to hit Shanghai in over 70 years, and it follows a string of increasingly intense storms in the region. Prior to Bebinca, Shanghai had only been directly hit by two major typhoons since 1949, one in 1949 and another in 2022, though it has experienced a number of severe tropical storms over the years. The storm's rapid intensification as it approached Shanghai has raised concerns about the growing frequency and strength of tropical cyclones in the region, a trend that many scientists attribute to climate change. Typhoon Bebinca struck at a disastrous time, as it came just days after Super Typhoon Yagi, a Category 4 storm, wreaked havoc on southern China. Yagi had sustained wind speeds of up to 230 kilometers per hour when it made landfall in the southern province of Hainan on September 6, killing 4 people and causing widespread destruction. Scientists have increasingly pointed to climate change as a key factor behind the growing intensity of storms like Bebinca and Yagi. Warmer ocean temperatures, driven by the global climate crisis, provide more energy for storms to intensify, making them stronger and more destructive when they hit land. As the oceans continue to warm, regions like Shanghai, which are traditionally not in the direct path of typhoons, may face a higher risk of being struck by powerful storms in the future. As Typhoon Bebinca moved inland and began to weaken, Shanghai's attention turned to recovery. While the city had avoided the worst-case scenario, the storm left behind significant damage. Flooded streets, fallen trees, and damaged power lines are among the many issues that will take days, if not weeks, to fully resolve. Business operations are expected to be disrupted for some time, particularly in areas that were hardest hit by flooding and power outages. Shanghai's experience with Typhoon Bebinca has highlighted the growing need for cities to be better prepared for extreme weather events. With climate change making storms stronger and more unpredictable, cities like Shanghai will need to invest in more resilient infrastructure, stronger flood defenses, and improved disaster response systems. The rapid evacuation and deployment of rescue workers during Bebinca helped minimize the loss of life, but the economic damage and the long-term effects of such storms could be more severe if stronger precautions aren't taken. The recovery process will be lengthy. Cleanup efforts are already underway, with rescue workers clearing debris and working to restore essential services. Power is gradually being restored to the areas most affected by the storm, and residents are slowly returning to their homes as the city begins to emerge from the shadow of Typhoon Bebinca. Businesses, particularly those in tourist areas, are expected to reopen once it's safe to do so, but the economic toll of the storm is still being assessed. For now, Shanghai is focused on getting back to normal, but the storm has left an indelible mark. It serves as a reminder that even the most advanced cities are vulnerable to the forces of nature, especially in an era of changing climate patterns. Typhoon Bebinca may have passed, but its impact will likely shape how Shanghai and other major cities prepare for the growing threat of extreme weather in the years to come. The lessons learned from this storm will inform future disaster preparedness strategies, as cities like Shanghai face an increasingly uncertain future in the face of climate change. That wraps up our coverage on Typhoon Bebinca's impact on Shanghai. The city's swift response and ongoing recovery efforts are critical in managing the aftermath of such a powerful storm. We'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you the latest developments. If you found this update valuable, please give us a thumbs up, and for ongoing updates on Typhoon Bebinca and other breaking news, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts or questions about the storm in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates.